Please open your guide to Session 8 for this week's practice. In our final week, we come to one of the most important practices of all, community. Almost all our formation occurs within the context of relationship. When you read the Gospels, you see Jesus was in the synagogue every Sabbath, gathering with a group of worshipers for the reading of Scripture, teaching, prayer, and singing. As we noted earlier, Jesus also did life with his 12 disciples and some close friends. And he had an inner circle of 3, Peter, James, and John, who were his closest companions on the way. Altogether, Jesus had about 1,000 days for his mission. He invested the vast majority of that time with a relatively small group of people, the 12 and the 3. There is much we can learn from this. Though it's important to worship in church and be part of a larger community, it's just as important to know and name your 12 and your 3. This means that it is vital that you have a few others you are engaged with in an intentional relationship. Relationships require time and energy, and they can lead to heartache. But it is in relationships where we experience life's greatest joys and almost all our transformation. The novelist Frederick Buechner has said, "You can survive on your own. You can grow strong on your own. You can prevail on your own, but you cannot become human on your own." Our final practice is to identify our intentional community and begin to meet together, ideally weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. This intentional community might be with 1 or 2 others, 5 or 6, or around a dozen or even more. It's a circle of friends where we can grow to trust each other enough to be open and vulnerable. If you don't have something like this in place, could you initiate a group like this to foster spiritual friendships? There is no one right model to follow. We encourage you to follow the pathway of your church, whether in a small group, a table community, a house church, or a Bible study. What's most important is for you to identify your community. Who are your Peter, James, and John? Who are your 12? And then begin to meet regularly and intentionally as you seek to travel the way together. You might follow up this course with one of the 9 practices from Practicing the Way, or you might read a book together, or take a class from the Bible Project, or simply share a weekly meal and pray for one another. There is no formula to follow, but we have Jesus, and we follow him together. God bless you as you do life in community.